we've had a bit of a blip, and now we have two pretty tough games to start off the month of March. We're going to have to try and make sure we get a couple of very big wins, I think, because otherwise there's definitely no chance of the title, and we may have to go through quite a lot of rounds of the playoffs, which is not ideal. Here we go today. We've got Bari, we've got Juve Stabia. Hopefully we can get some wins. It was heartbreak against league leaders as they were then, Bari, on Halloween earlier this year. So I suppose, again, we are sort of up for revenge. We didn't lose, but we should have won that game. We were very, very unlucky to lose it right at the death. One of several times that's happened to us this year. So we can hopefully right that particular wrong after failing to completely right it wrong in the last video. So let's hope we can win this one. Nepi is not in his best form, so I'm going to bring Sassy back in, and we'll play them that way round. I think that's probably all we need to do for the moment. The only question is whether I bring in DeMarcus, because he has had some good form recently. I think yes, I'm going to do that. I'm going to have DeMarcus in at left back. So we're going to go on and play the game. We're going to have a double header today. We're playing Bari, and then we've got Juve Stabia, who are a team in fourth at the moment. So obviously a team that we perhaps might have designs on catching if we can get into some form in the back end of the season. That would be, I suppose, the target currently. Giudici picks it up in the midfield. Finds Sassy. Can Sassy make something happen? He does find Nesta. Goidi, and some nice little triangle there. Vittorini finds Nesta again. Nesta shoots. Sassy gets the right rebound, and it's 1-0. We are leading against a team who we know are quite strong. They may not be leading the table anymore, but they're still a very strong side, and not to be dismissed. This would be a massive win if we can see it out, without a shadow of a doubt. Sassy, can he get another ball in? Can. Goidi can't quite guide it into the goal though. And Chidira out of nowhere, and he's forced a great save from Bianchini, but it was a very, very good save. So good stuff from him. And the header goes over the bar from the corner as well. DeMarcus now to Sassy. DeMarcus finds Sassy again, and Nesta's there to make it 2, and that is fantastic. Possibly a little lucky to be 2-0 up. I think that flatters us, but I do think we'd probably be marginally the best team. I don't think they could have complained about being behind, but they have had 1 or 2 chances as well, so, and a lot more possession than us. So whilst 2-0 might flatter us, I don't think winning does at this stage. There's a long way to go yet. That does, however, take us to half-time nice and easily. Very, very nice first half there against a very decent side. Away from home as well, don't forget. And we can be quite proud of that, I think. Di Gennaro will take the cross, and they have pegged us back. Di Cesare has got 1 goal back. We need to start making some substitutions and just trying to manage the game a little bit. We have got 5, of course, so 5 in half an hour means we can take a bit of time out of the game. Just making the odd substitution here and there just to break things up. It seems to be working so far, touch wood. Some nice passing in the midfield. Can Nesta find a way through? He can't, but Vittorini can, and Sassy's in. Sassy can't quite finish the game off. Deramo is going to make way for Paolini. Trajkovic, can he play him? Nepi, he can, but Nepi's missed the target. Very disappointing. One more substitution. It's going to be DeMarcus for Kakales. Just waste that little bit more time. Or will we be pegged back again by Bari for the 2nd time this season? Late on. Teliento. DeMarcus finds it and gets it out, but he's going straight to the defenders. We need to stop getting it out like that. Oh, he's hit the post. Are we going to get away with it this time? 5 minutes of injury time. After what happened back in October, this is worrying. And oh, what a save by Bianchini. Terrific save by, I don't think there's a lot of doubt anymore, our player of the season. Fantastic save. Antonucci. Celiento crosses it in, but doesn't force a save from Bianchini. Maras, and they've done it to us twice in 1 season, guys. Injury time equaliser for the 2nd time in the season against Bari. It just feels a little harsh. It really does. It'll feel even more harsh if they score now. Maras just about puts it wide. You got to feel for the players when they've played against this team twice in one season and conceded a late equaliser in both games. Really disappointing against a team who probably on paper are significantly better than us. But yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. The good news is it may not matter too much for this. It's unlikely to be a huge difference. It might mean we have one extra playoff game, perhaps. But the fact is that the later games are going to be the harder games anyway, in all likelihood. So it probably won't matter much. But just for that to happen twice in a season against the same team is not fun. We were very unlucky. So Bari now have, with that goal presumably, guaranteed themselves a playoff place. We won't be far behind them though. I think it's 11 points, but a couple of wins will probably do that because there will be points dropped elsewhere as well, without a shadow of a doubt. Let's talk about the fact that we've been very unlucky again. Hurts the result. Pleased with how hard we made it to do that. We've been unbeaten away. We've obviously lost our unbeaten run against Monterossi recently, but unbeaten away in 10 matches, which is excellent. I am quite worried by the number of points we are throwing away, definitely. Need to learn to see out games. That's definitely a problem, and the fact that we've done it twice against Bari in one season really is frustrating. Anyway, we will be back in a second, and we will be facing Juve Stabia. And here we go. We have Juve Stabia now. Before we do play that, I'm going to just take a moment to just talk about a few things that I've noticed in this team at the moment. We're going to play... I think we're going to stick positively because we're at home and we're in pretty good form, so I'm going to stay positively. But I want to just mention a few things in terms of the form. One thing I've noticed is that quite a few players who haven't had a great season, they've started to come into a bit of form. With some players, this is to do with being played in the reserve teams, of course. So particularly the people who you don't see having played much. But for some people like Ventola, for example, that clearly doesn't apply to him. Same with Bianchini, although Bianchini's been brilliant all season, to be fair. And I think something seems to have really clicked with this team recently, which is, I suppose in some ways that's obvious because the results have improved. But it's interesting to see that it's not necessarily the players who've been good all season. So someone like Di Matteo, he hasn't been outstanding. He's still been good, but he hasn't been outstanding recently. Someone like Daniels, who has a very good season, but has tailed off a little bit in recent times, although he will be back in the team today. So it's just interesting to see that it's not necessarily always the players that maybe I would have expected to have been the people behind an improvement that we've had, who have really stepped up in the last few games. And if we can keep that going throughout the save, that will see us hopefully be able to keep up some kind of form throughout, because even if the players do tail off, some of them, others might improve to fix that. So I don't know whether it's because I've done the training particularly well. I don't feel like I've done a huge amount with the training, but something seems to have gone right as far as just making sure that players improve, or at least can perform to higher levels than they have done throughout the season so far. So it's just a little interesting thing I've noticed over the last few games. At first I thought it was just that players had been playing for the reserves, and one or two people it is that. But there are quite a few players who started off the season poorly and have really improved. In other cases, like Daniels, for example, he's gone from poor to really good to poor again, which is interesting. I mean, the second poor run is a very short run, I should point out. But interesting to note. Anyway, here we are against Juve Stabia, and DeMarcus has a throw-in. And Duramo finds the ball on the edge of the area, but just pins it back to Diarra. Daniels, can he get a ball in? Yes, he can. Swaver just puts it wide. After the disappointment of losing a lead against Bari again, I would really like to win this one. This is now becomes a very important game for the morale of the players. And Nesta's there to put it away. Certainly one up. I think we might have had a penalty if he hadn't scored anyway, because it looked to me like Daniels was probably fouled there. We'll have another look at it. Maybe not. It might have been a diving header. I'm not sure. Good start anyway, and it's good to see that the XG is high as well. We've got 4 shots and we've got almost 1 XG already. I'm sure that goal was probably the biggest of them, but it certainly wasn't anywhere near 1. Teramo. have been dominant so far. If we can keep this up, we should win this by some distance. Nesta finds Vittorini. He can't find Nesta back again. Collecting the ball as well. Every time they get the ball off us, we seem to collect it back, and we get back into the groove of the attack. Almost every highlight so far has resulted in a shot for us. Sassy shoots. That was a bit of a waste, really. Didn't need to shoot from there. Bianchini. Can't quite find Sassy. Don't really know why we keep persisting with these long balls. I've got to bring it down to shorter, I think, because we're giving the ball away far too easily. Swaver can't quite get on the end of that. It's another long ball again. I'm not sure, because it's the thing. I've noticed this. I'll change that many times shorter, and then they just keep doing it. It feels like it's a bit of a thing with my players that they want to hit it long. I don't know whether that's just because they've been training that tactic for so long. I think I need to probably switch it down to a bit shorter. There is a reason why I'm playing it long, but I think they do it a little bit too often. Oh, and there we go. We're pegged back again. At least it's not in the last minute this time. We've got time to re-establish our lead. But it felt like a half that we kind of dominated, and we haven't really got the most out of it. Yoldi is going to need to come off for Paolini. So one thing about first half substitutions are annoying in the Premier League, but because we've got Swaver goes through. Oh, he's missed it. He's not a great finisher, Swaver. But because we've got 5 subs, that first half substitution doesn't really feel so significant anymore. It doesn't matter so much. Because we've still got 4 substitutes to make in that second half, and it gives us a lot of flexibility with the team. Maserati to Daniels. Sassi. DeMarcus to Deramo. Paolini and Nesta combining well. Vittorini can go on the overlap, crosses the ball in, but doesn't quite find a Zaffarana foot. Nesta can get the corner in, not find a head of a Zaffarana player. Bentivegna, Bianchini holds that nicely. Nesta again, nice run from him there. It's a lovely little diagonal run. Crosses in, and Daniels heads over the bar. But we are looking dangerous again. Be nice to see us go ahead and try and hold on to it this time. Paolini finds Swaver, who massively overhits the cross, but DeMarcus is there. He also overhits the cross. Swaver finds it again. Can he get it right? Paolini, not quite. DeMarcus picks up the loose ball eventually. Diana to Maserati. Swaver. Vittorini finds Swaver. That's a very nice ball, but can't quite convert it. Looking very dangerous. It feels like the goal's coming, but will it? Daniels finds Paolini. Can he put it away? No, he can't. We've missed so many chances. It just feels like the kind of game where we might just get sucker punched and lose this 2-1. I'm going to bring on a winger, Giudici, I guess. Caldore. If we lose this, it will be really harsh, because I think we've been significantly better than them. Swaver to Deramo. Don't hit it long. 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 It never works. No, it never works. See? Don't hit it long. Don't hit it long. Don't hit it long. Or back to the keeper. Swaver. That's more like it. Swaver. Can he get the cross in? Yes, he can. Nesta is nearly there to finish it, but we are getting closer. We are really pushing. We're knocking on that door. We're going to knock it down, I hope. Vittorini to Deramo. Nepi shoots. Don't know why he's shooting from there. We've been so dominant. There's absolutely no reason for you to be shooting from miles away. Let's work the ball into the box. Really try and create a really good chance for ourselves. But this could end up being a very frustrating game. This is definitely, for me, a game that we should be winning. You can see the XG, 3.38. That's huge. Especially when we haven't had a penalty. Nesta finds Nepi. Nesta again. Nepi. Come on. Real shame not to win this game after this level of dominance against a team that should have been a difficult opponent. We haven't shot particularly well. That's the problem. We've only got 5 on target. Oh, this is going to be one of the most frustrating seasons on FM. It does feel like we could actually have won the title this year with the number of points that we've dropped, either from positions where we were winning late on and let it go, or from positions like that where we should really have absolutely topped them. That should have been 5 or 6, I think. Which is a shame, because the fact is they played really well. They just couldn't finish off their chances. And we're 15 points behind Foggia, but I reckon we've dropped at least 15 points in games like that, or late points dropped. And it's just so disappointing that we could have been doing so much better than this, and it's going to be middle of the playoff zones rather than, as I was hoping, possibly even an automatic promotion. But certainly at least one of the later rounds of the playoffs, and it looks like we may have to play quite a few rounds of the playoffs, unfortunately. Nesta being absolutely brilliant. He has played very, very well recently. And that's 2 draws for the second video running, which is very frustrating. And we need to start putting more wins together. The fact is we've got 1 win in 8 at the moment, and 2 wins in 11. And that's not good, particularly after we had on that run where we had 6 in a row. 6 wins in a row. At that point, I really did think the league title was on. Beating Foggia felt like a massive, massive result. Since then, it's been too many draws. I'd have taken a couple more defeats, turned some of the other ones into wins, and it is disappointing that I think we are going to be looking at playing quite a lot of rounds of the playoffs at the moment, as it seems. 6 games left though, and we will be back for one of them, and I think it's going to have to be the Palermo game, isn't it? I think what I'll do is I will come back for the youth intake, and we'll have the next game after the youth intake plus the Palermo game, because I don't think it's really going to make a huge amount of difference competitively anymore. We're going to be going through quite a few rounds of the playoffs, and it's just a question really of exactly how many. But seeing the development of that Palermo rivalry could be interesting. They are currently level on points with us, so it really could be quite fun, that rivalry, I think. Anyway, join me tomorrow for that Palermo game, plus one other, and you'll see my first ever youth intake at Zafferana. And hopefully we've got a couple of decent people coming in. So tune in tomorrow and come see them.